Imagine a moment that changed history forever. December 16, 1971. Nearly 90,000 Pakistani soldiers surrendered to India in Dhaka, marking the largest military capitulation since World War II. This wasn't just the end of a war, it was the birth of a new nation, Bangladesh. But what sparked this conflict? How did India secure such a decisive victory? And what is the full story of the 1971 war? Let's unravel this epic tale of courage, strategy, and liberation. The roots of this war trace back to 1947, when the partition of India created Pakistan in two geographically separated wings, West Pakistan and East Pakistan, 2,000 kilometers apart. Despite East Pakistan having a larger population, over 70 million compared to the West's 50 million, the political and economic power was concentrated in the West. The East faced systemic discrimination from the outset. West Pakistan consumed 70% of the national budget, leaving East Pakistan underfunded in infrastructure, education, and healthcare. Culturally, the divide was stark. While West Pakistanis spoke Urdu and Punjabi, East Pakistanis were predominantly Bengali, with their own language and heritage. In 1948, Pakistan's government declared Urdu the sole national language, erasing Bengali from official documents, stamps, and currency. This linguistic suppression ignited resentment as Bengalis felt their identity was under attack. For 2 decades, East Pakistan endured this marginalization, but tensions simmered beneath the surface. By 1969, Pakistan was under military rule, led by General Yahya Khan. Facing growing unrest, Yahya promised to restore democracy through elections, assuring that the National Assembly would reflect population proportions, giving East Pakistan more seats due to its larger population. The elections, held in December 1970, delivered a shockwave. The Awami League, a political party from East Pakistan led by Sheikh Mujibur Rahman, won 167 of 169 seats in the East, securing a majority in the 313-seat National Assembly. For the first time, an East Pakistani was poised to become Pakistan's prime minister, wielding power over the entire nation. This outcome was unacceptable to West Pakistan's elite. Zulfikar Ali Bhutto, leader of the Pakistan People's Party, the West's largest party, and military leaders refused to accept the results. The National Assembly was never convened, and the Awami League was blocked from forming a government. To East Pakistanis, this was a betrayal of democracy. Furious, they rallied behind Mujibur, launching a non-cooperation movement with massive protests and strikes across the East. A bold new demand emerged: independence for a nation called Bangladesh. Sensing his grip on East Pakistan slipping, Yahya Khan responded with brute force. On March 21, 1971, he launched Operation Searchlight, a military crackdown of staggering brutality. That night, Pakistani forces unleashed chaos across East Pakistan. Sheikh Mujibur Rahman was arrested and sent to West Pakistan, but not before broadcasting a defiant message. From today, Bangladesh is independent. Resist the occupation army with all you have until the last soldier is expelled. Pakistani troops, armed with tanks and heavy artillery, massacred civilians, targeting Awami League supporters, students, and intellectuals. Estimates suggest up to 3 million lives were lost in the ensuing genocide. Homes were burned, villages were erased, and terror reigned. In response, Bengali military officers formed the Mukti Bahini, a guerrilla force to fight back. But with limited weapons, they struggled against Pakistan's superior firepower. As violence escalated, millions fled across the border to India seeking safety. By mid-1971, over 10 million refugees had poured into West Bengal, Assam, and Tripura, overwhelming India's resources. The Indian economy, already fragile, faced collapse under the burden of providing food, shelter, and medical care. A 5 refugee tax was imposed on citizens to cope, but maintaining order in refugee camps was a logistical nightmare. Prime Minister Indira Gandhi knew urgent action was needed to halt the genocide and stem the refugee crisis. In April 1971, Indira Gandhi met with Army Chief Sam Manekshaw and her cabinet, pressing for an immediate military intervention to liberate Bangladesh. Manekshaw, a master strategist, refused, citing two critical reasons. First, the Indian army was dispersed and unprepared for a large-scale war, needing months to mobilize troops and ammunition. Second, the timing was poor. The monsoon season would turn East Pakistan into a swamp, slowing Indian advances while open Himalayan passes risked Chinese intervention, forcing a three-front war. Drawing on strategic wisdom akin to ancient Indian strategist Chanakya, Manekshaw convinced Indira Gandhi to delay until November, when conditions would favor India. India used this time wisely. In May, Operation Jackpot began, supplying the Mukti Bahini with weapons and training for guerrilla warfare to weaken Pakistani forces. Diplomatically, Foreign Minister Swaran Singh led a global campaign, visiting nations to highlight Pakistan's atrocities and the refugee crisis. While many countries expressed sympathy, the U.S., a close Pakistani ally facilitating U.S.-China relations, provided military and financial aid to Pakistan, ignoring its democratic violations. A breakthrough came in August 1971 with the Indo-Soviet Treaty of Peace, Friendship, and Cooperation, ensuring Soviet support if India faced attack, a critical shield against U.S. and Chinese intervention. Diplomacy had failed to resolve the crisis by November, and war became inevitable. India prepared for a two-front conflict, anticipating Pakistani attacks from the west. On December 3, 1971, Pakistan struck first with Operation Chengiz Khan, bombing Indian airfields in Pathankot, Amritsar, and Agra. The attack caused minimal damage, with runways repaired swiftly. Pakistan's preemptive strike gave India the moral high ground. That night, Indira Gandhi addressed the nation. Pakistan has launched a full-scale war against us. The war in Bangladesh is now a war on India. At 10:45 p.m., Manekshaw secured her approval for a counter-offensive. India's response was swift and devastating. On December 4th, the Indian Air Force launched 120 sorties, crippling Pakistani air bases in the east. The Navy's Eastern Fleet, led by INS Vikrant, struck Chittagong and Cox's Bazar, while Operation Trident targeted Karachi port. Using Soviet-supplied missile boats towed by INS Kiltan, India sank Pakistani ships and set oil tanks ablaze, paralyzing the port. On land, the Battle of Longowala in Rajasthan showcased Indian ingenuity. Major K.S. Chandpuri's 120 soldiers faced 2,000–3,000 Pakistani troops and 45 tanks. Relentless machine gun fire and barbed wire mistaken for minefields stalled the enemy until Indian hunter jets destroyed dozens of tanks at dawn. India's goal was to capture Dhaka, the heart of East Pakistan. By December 7th, Jessore was liberated, securing a key airbase. Advancing toward Dhaka, Indian troops faced a fortified Pakistani position at Ashuganj. Lieutenant General Sagat Singh bypassed it by airlifting 4,000 soldiers across the Meghna River using Mi helicopters. On December 11th, 800 paratroopers dropped in Tangail, supported by jute dummies mimicking soldiers, blocked retreating Pakistani forces. As Dhaka was surrounded, the Indian Air Force struck the government house during a Pakistani meeting, forcing Governor A.M. Malik to resign in panic. Global powers intervened as India gained ground. The U.S. sent Task Force 74, including a massive aircraft carrier, to the Bay of Bengal, while the U.K. dispatched ships to the Arabian Sea. The Soviet Union's Pacific Fleet, with nuclear-capable submarines, countered, blocking their advance and averting escalation. By December 15th, Pakistan's morale was shattered. Sam Manekshaw broadcast surrender demands to General Niazi. On December 16th, after intense negotiations, Niazi signed the instrument of surrender at Dhaka's Ramna racecourse, handing over his revolver to Lieutenant General G.S. Arora. With 93,000 troops surrendered, Bangladesh was free. India's victory was monumental. Over 3,000 Indian soldiers sacrificed their lives, and India managed 10 million refugees, ensuring their safe return under the Geneva Convention. Sheikh Mujibur Rahman became Bangladesh's first president, and the nation began rebuilding with India's support. This war was a testament to India's resolve, the Mukti Bahini's bravery, and the power of justice against overwhelming odds.